Welcome, welcome. It is Tuesday evening, and we are going to walk the dog through the woods. And it is just absolutely gorgeous right now. And so, getting comfortable with this view. Camera's facing me. I can't see what's happening, but it's not terrible. And it gets a good background shot, so I feel less self-conscious of you like staring at my face the whole time. And maybe you'll look around at the trees and stuff. Lets me not think about that when I'm shooting video. Makes it more relaxing for me. But it's sunset right now, and I will say, pretty good. Pretty good. Zippers and I are out here. It's squishy season, and we're gonna squish squash through the swamp and tell you a story today about my very first hop harvest festival. It came to mind for some reason, and then I thought it'd be a good one to share. Feels like I've been having the same conversation with a lot of people. A lot of you hustling, running, moving fast, moving and shaking. Either getting busy doing stuff. Oh, there goes a bunny. Zip is so far behind. The rabbit's that way, and Zip is back there. Hey. He walks slower through the mud. Everybody's hustling. You're either getting busy working and trying to make the buck, make the ends meet, or you're getting busy healing because something broke, like our healthcare system, and just, getting hurt stinks. Sometimes you're sitting at home. So I figured if you were sitting at home, you're doing a good job at healing and doing your thing. Got a few people in my head right there. If you're hustling, I wanted to share a walk through the woods and a moment with the dog, who will never catch a rabbit ever. And so back my very first Hop Harvest Festival, 2014. Crazy time. And so the background of the Hop Harvest Festival is that the farm that the brewery's located on was a dairy farm. It had dairy cows. And when you have dairy cows and you want them to produce milk, they get pregnant and then they drop calves. That calf is either a little boy or a little girl. If it's a little girl, congratulations, you got your next generation of milking cows. And if it's a little boy, well, then you have your next generation of hamburger. So every year they would have a fall festival. I don't know if it was every year, the story got played telephone through the years, but the one that we settled on was that before it got to be winter and you had to pay to feed hay to this new animal, you had all your friends and relatives over and played music, drank beer, and had burgers, fell asleep in the lawn. Had a good time. We got here in 2013 and planted a hop yard. And in 2014, we got some harvest. 2014 was our first. 15 was the first real harvest. 14 was feeling it out. The plants were young. There wasn't that much of a harvest, but it was fun anyways. So I'm pretty sure this was 2015. Either way, that's 10 years ago. And new to growing hops. Almost nobody was growing hops in the Northeast at that time. And so we were trialing it. And we get through the whole festival. There's 100 people out. We have a band. Had to pull a special permit from the town. The whole nine. And with hops, they grow from the ground 18 feet up in the air. I'm not going to find a visual. 18 feet up in the air. And they branch out. They put out these little flowers. That flower, inside that flower, is lupulin. It looks like pollen, like a little fine yellow powder. And that's the flavor and bittering agents in beer. And fascinating plant. Love-hate relationship with it, for sure. But they grow up really tall, so they're ungainly to work with, 18 feet up. And they put these flowers out, and you have to harvest these delicate flowers, dry them out, and then you use them in the beer later on. I'm oversimplifying the process for the beer nerds out there. And so we go through this big thing. We have all these people around. We have our first band ever, because we did like boom boxes the year before. 2014 was a you know what show. And we harvest all these flowers, and it takes so much work and so much energy, and we're drying them out because we wanted to dry them and preserve them for use in our beer, and yeah, that was, you know, what we were doing. And we created these DIY dryers because we also were on a budget, but I was crafty, and so I built trays with a non-reactive metal screening, and you could stack them like just like the trays of a dehydrator. And a friend of ours hooked up a heating element and a temperature probe, and we tested it, and it went pretty well. And so we're drying the hops, and we have to leave it overnight, and I set alarms so that I go out every couple hours because I'm nervous and I want to check on it. And I go out late at night and I check in, everything's going well. And you have to rotate the trays because otherwise the bottom tray will be super dry and the top tray will be damp because you're blowing blowing air through the hops to dry them out. And then with a heating element on very, very low as part of that. And because we live in Connecticut, so it's humid, so you have to use a little bit of heat. And so I rearrange the trays and I set my alarm for like another 2 hours, and I go back to bed. And I come out in the middle of the night, you know, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I check the trays, and I walk up to the shed because we was inside a shed, or inside the dehydrator, inside a shed, and it's smoking. And I'm like, no! And I open up the shed, and the fan had melted onto the heating element because the heating element had gotten too hot because the temperature probe wasn't in the exact right place. And with the hops drying out, the air traveled over the probe, so the heating element got hotter than we initially intended, and we almost lit them on fire, and lost, you know, because then I've been blowing burning plastic smoke up through these hops for who knows long. You know, it could have been 5 minutes, could have been half an hour. Any time is too long, and lost that whole crop. Like, we all worked so hard and saved every flower, and everything was hand picked, and we planned a beer, we had it all measured out, and that one little minute detail just lost everything. And it, you know, not a huge cash crop, but it meant a lot how much work went into that. It was early on, we were learning stuff, and it was something that we just came together over. And it was smoking. And so I run over, because at the same time, my partner Barry, business partner Barry, was living on the same property. So I knock on his door, and Barry, he's all bleary-eyed. And he comes out, and he's like, "What's up?" And I was like, "The shed is smoking. The hops, I don't even know. It's so dark." And so he runs out. We're both like in our PJs, and we pull the hops out, and we're like, "We can't use these. We don't even put them back in there. Let's just air everything out and call it a night." And I was like, "But Barry, what are we gonna do?" And he looks at me and he goes, "John, we're gonna go sleep, and we're gonna wake up, and we're gonna try again tomorrow." And it's always stuck with me. You know, you work really hard at something, and there's a lot of things that are gonna go right. There's a lot of things that went right that day, and things at times are gonna go wrong, and there's setbacks, and something that you've worked so hard, you were making progress on, you really felt like you were gaining ground. You get knocked down, and it's all right. Take a minute, go to sleep, take a nap, shake it off, and get up and try again. So Zip and I are going to finish our walk. Thanks for coming, taking a moment, and listening to a story. I think you're great, and I'll see you later.